Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So glad each and every one of you can make it. Today we're going to be playing with these things. And what are we doing and all that great stuff? Well, you have to come right back and find out. Again, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be messing with these two things. These are just two cars that I drilled apart for different reasons. This one has a hole in the hood that I need to fix and reuse the body. And this one I used the body for something else. But what we're going to be doing is testing some clears. And the reason that we're doing this is, well, price, availability, and adjustability. Now I'll explain all that in just a second. But as you know, in this hobby, we paint our cars, right? That's part of being a customizer. And we always clear coat it. We have to protect it, or what's the point? So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to do 4 products. 2 out of rattle cans. One, you'll be surprised when I tell you that that's going to be what we're going to use, because I used to use it on scale models back in the day and it worked great. I don't know how it's going to work on Diecast. And 2, and the last one is a Automotive Clear, okay? But we're not going to be spraying them out of the can. But here's one of the ones we're going to use. We're going to take it out of the can and run it through the airbrush. This is one of my favorites. The gloss out of it is phenomenal and I just really like how it looks. It goes on great and everything. This one is really clear. These are the two clearest clears that I have found. Some will turn yellow on you, some of them are not quite clear. Like most of the polyurethanes, like the Minwax has a yellow tint to it. These come out crystal clear, both of them. But we're going to take them out of the cans, and all we need is 2 containers to put them in. I'm just going to use 2 soft drink bottles that I cut the top off of. We're just going to spray it directly in, pour it into the air gun, and run with it. Now, there's several reasons why you would want to do this. The first one is the finish out of the airbrush is so much better than out of a real rattle can. Now, some people get super smooth paint jobs out of the rattle cans, and that's wonderful. But some of us don't have the, I don't want to say skill set, but we don't have the practice or the time in order to accomplish that. So we just grab the cans and go, and we always end up with the orange peel. And I'll probably have a ton of orange peel on these cars when I spray them, because I've just rattle canned the base coat and then I put the purple over it. And if you look real close at the colors, they're not smooth, but that's because of the base coat. But ease of use and cost is the main thing. I mean, anywhere from $3 to $20 for a can of rattle can clear. They have 1K clear that's in a rattle can. I have not tried it yet because I can't afford to pay $18 for one can of paint. Just can't do it. The other product that I'm going to use is really cheap. You could get it almost anywhere, and we'll get to that again here in just a few minutes when we get outside. The other product, the last one, which is the Automotive Clear, is a 2K clear. The 2K clear is my favorite as far as gloss. I mean, it just looks like it's sitting there dripping wet. I mean, it does. It looks like it's soaking wet. The only problem with that is you have to have the 2K clear, you have to have a reducer, and you have to have the activator or hardener. Supposedly. It's been rumored that, now you wouldn't want to do this on an automotive body, of course. You want it as hard as you can get it. But it has been rumored that you don't need the hardener, that the thinner itself will be okay. So we're going to try it without the hardener. We're going to try it with the thinner. And this product is out of most people's reach, because those 3 ingredients that I just mentioned will put you at around $100. If you do a lot of cars and you're constantly painting and stuff, by all means, and you can afford it, go for it. But $100 is out of most people's reach for a hobby, myself included, because I've said it before, I'm the only one working, and just $100 for chemicals to paint with is just not feasible. But a great channel supporter sent me some, and I've been playing with it. I really like it. I really want to keep using it. But anyhow, let me get everything set up, because what we're going to do, we're going to tape down the middle of this car. I'll put something over half of it. We'll spray one clear. Do the other car the same way, spray that half. By the time we get done with that, we can flip the other half over and spray that with another product, and so on and so forth. So let's get to it. Alright, for those that have never decanned spray paint before, this is the easiest way to decant it and run it through your airbrush, okay? All it takes is a container to catch it in, and then in this case it's just a soda bottle that I cut the top off of. Then you're going to take your clear, shake it up, not vigorously, but shake it up, you know, kind of round and round. That way it gets everything mixed up. And then spray it into the container. Until you get enough. And we're just spraying half of a car, so we don't need a bunch. But as you can see, I've got the car taped off kind of haphazardly. I'm not worried about the finish. If I messed up on the paper job and the tape sticks to the paint, it'll probably peel some paint off, so expect that. That is not what this is about. This is about testing the clear coats, okay? My airbrush is currently set up on roughly 20 psi. So here we go. This is going to be number 1. This is going to be the, and I can refer back to the video if I need to, but this is going to be the Color Max Clear by Cryoline Gloss Crystal Clear. And it is clear. As you see, there's nothing in the cup. Make sure everything works fine. We're just going to pour it straight into the cup. Now for cleanup with this, you're going to need lacquer thinner. Oh yeah, that's enough to paint 2 cars. Make sure it works. Sprays out. And I'm just putting a nice wet coat on there for now. Looking pretty good. And you can play with it, you can go in close, you can go, and I'm just looking at the paint as I'm spraying it, trying to decide if I need to stay out further or go in closer, because sometimes what will happen is it will actually start looking white as you spray it because it's drying quicker. It's drying before it's getting on the car is what it's doing, but in this case it's not doing that, so I'm going to put one more coat on there because this stuff dries ultra fast. I mean, we're putting, it's drying almost as fast as we put it on, but look at that. Not quite as glossy, so, I don't know, it's supposed to be. You see it right there, gloss, you see it. Put one more a little bit further away and see what happens. Well, there's that one. Yeah, I'm going to keep the can with it. That is that one. Okay. Now I get the fun part that you don't have to watch, and that's clean up the gun. As you can see, I didn't use much at all. Got that one cleaned up. Put that in there so I do not use that again. And we'll do the same thing, this time the triple thick glaze. Again, it does not take much. And that is a lot stickier. And like I said, there's two main things, well, three main things. You can tint these with fingernail polish or anything, so that's endless possibilities. It's cheap, and it's just the way it lays down. As far as glossiness, can't tell the difference between the two. Put it on nice and wet and see what happens. Now putting it on wet, I could tell a little bit more gloss. You definitely need to go in close to get the gloss. Definitely, you can see it. Now it's starting to look wet looking. Yeah, how wet looking it is now. Like I said, I'm not going for a perfect finish with this because of the base coat. The base coat I put down is not good. It was just for paint for this purpose. But yeah, it looks nice and wet, doesn't it? We'll set that over and let it dry. I'll keep it with the color and magic of cleanup that you don't have to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the original clear back in, the first one, and I want to go in nice and close so that I can see if getting close will make that glossier, because it's supposed to be glossy. And it's got a little bit of gloss to it, but it's mostly matte finish. So let's go in closer and see what happens. Oh yeah. You got to go in closer. Oh yeah, look at that. A lot glossier now. At least I hope you can see that. Oh yeah, a lot glossier. It only takes a few minutes for it to dry, and we can flip the tape over and get ready for the next test. Now this next product, we actually use it for something else in the diecast community, and that's windshields. I mean, it does a wonderful job on windshields. Fills in scratches, make them glossy, and just all kind of stuff. What is that? Pledge Revive. That's right. Floor covering. Yes, you can run it through your airbrush. Some people thin it. I have never done it on diecast. I never thinned it when I put it on my scale models, so I'm not going to thin it now unless we absolutely need it. Make sure that's clear. I'm just going to squirt some right in. Now be careful with this stuff, because this stuff is be careful with this stuff, because this stuff is very, very sticky. Next to 2K Clear, I believe it is the stickiest substance known to mankind. But it has to be. It goes on the floor. But it's also durable, right? So 20 psi again. Sprays out just fine, and you use water to clean this up, believe it or not. So let's give it a spray and see. We don't need to be right on it like we did the other clear. I'm going to try a wave first. Oh yeah, that looks good and wet. How long does it take it to dry? It takes a couple hours for it to dry. But if you notice that you're getting a little bit of orange peel in it, you can go in closer. But this is just looking so good. Look at that. So I'm going to sit that with that. That was that half. That was that half. And I couldn't find my container, so I brought my dipper that I use for my windshields and stuff, because I thought I was going to get some out of it. But luckily I didn't. So rather than trying to take the top off of that and putting it back in, I'm just going to pour this straight in there. Like I said, water cleanup, which I happen to have some hot water laying over to the side. Next up, 2K Clear. And then you can see this stuff is thick, and it's just as sticky as the Pledge. The only problem is you have to thin this. The others you don't have to thin. And like I said, you're supposed to use hardener with this, but we're not going to, because this is just a test. All I'm going to be using is thinner, because when you mix this for diecast, you want to mix it 2 parts clear to 1 part hardener to 1 part thinner. So in other words, you mix. If you go 1/8 of an inch with clear, you go 1/8 of an inch with the hardener thinner mix. Well, that's not quite 1/8 of an inch, but anyhow, I'm not going to mix that much clear with it. I mean, thinner. Dang it, can't talk. I'm gonna do this off camera so I can watch what I'm doing. But if you've been paying close attention, that's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. If you mix the thinner and the hardener together and measure it side by side with the clear, 1 and 1 is 2 to 2. See what I'm saying? Anyhow, long story short, that you don't care about. Once you do that, you have to mix this thoroughly. Because like I said, the clear by itself is very thick. Very, very thick. And it will not spray through an airbrush that thick. So you have to mix it thoroughly. And this is the hardest to clean, because I mean it sticks to everything. And I cleaned everything really good last time. And every time I'd go back and touch it, I could just feel it, my fingers sticking. So it is the hardest. And you just test it. That should spray through an airbrush. We'll give it a try. If it don't, we can take it back out and thin it down some more. We'll give it a whirl and see what happens. Oh, I need to take my tape off and spin it around before we do anything. Yep, same. I cut my tape. I didn't have the paper towel on there just right. Oh well. Do that before I forget what I'm doing. But yes, this stuff is super thick. If I didn't tell you before. I got a feeling I have to thin that a little bit more, but we're going to try it. Now for this, you're going to have to crank the air pressure up a little bit. Okay, here we go. I've got them lined up in order. Left side, the triple thick glaze. Right side the Pledge, left side the Krylon Crystal Clear, and right side the 2K Clear. Now the 2K Clear I didn't get on video because I thought I had it recording, but it wasn't. But anyhow, as you can see, there's how they look. The 2K Clear, I still didn't have it thin enough, so I had to go in close, and that's why it's not real crystal smooth. For 2K Clear to work, you need to be off of it just a hair so that the fog gets it rather than the air pushing it. Does that make sense? I had it where it was coming out, but I had to get in so close that the air was dispersing the clear. But anyhow, the 2K Clear of course works and is beautiful, and it is still wet looking, but it is dry to the touch. I mean, look how wet looking that is. The Krylon done okay. I mean, it's got some gloss to it and everything, but you have to go in close with that for it to work with low PSI. The Pledge, low PSI, it was 20 pounds. Nice gloss finish, works excellent. And the triple thick glaze out of the airbrush looks pretty good. I mean, it could look better, but that is what it is. I mean, that's the whole reason I didn't want to do this test, so we could see exactly how all this was going to work. So you can decan, you can tin it, you can yada yada yada, do whatever you want. But here's 4 options for you. If you can afford the 2K, by all means, that's going to give you your best results. It's the messiest to clean up, but it gives you your best results. Second would be the Pledge. As you can see, it's real glossy and everything. But your prep work has to be good to start with, because you can see that orange peel, and that was already there. That's not the Pledge. The Pledge went on very smooth. That's the prep work. And then your rattle cans. So it just depends on what you want, what you're looking for. Just thought I'd put this video out there so you can see that you can airbrush these, and they do work really good. With that stated, I'm gonna get off here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. So I wanted to get it in the sun so you can see. The one on the left is the triple thick. The one on the right is the 2K Clear. You can see that the 2K Clear, when it dries, it levels itself out. It is super smooth. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's still wet looking, but it's dry to the touch. I mean, it's just beautiful. I'm trying to get the camera to focus right. The one on the left is a triple thick glaze, and although it's glossy, you can see that it levels to some extent, but not as good as the 2K Clear. Now the other over here, the one on the right is the Pledge. Again, you can see that it is super shiny. Not as good as the 2K Clear, but it is nice and glossy. The one on the left is the Krylon, and it just looks like crap. I mean, every little defect in the base coat is coming through. It didn't self-level or anything. I mean, it looks like crap. I'm going to just say not to use that through the airbrush unless you go in really wet. And yeah, anyhow, that's the test. Just wanted to show you that you can spray it through your airbrush and it works good. I just wouldn't spray the Color Max to it. But that's part of testing, right? That's why we do these tests. That's why we try things out. I recommend trying it on spoons, painting up a bunch of spoons, and try, you know, whatever you want to use and whatnot. But in this case, I had these 2 cars laying around and said, let's see how it actually works on Diecast. So that's what I did. Hope you enjoyed.